Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the update that is releasing tomorrow. One of the biggest updates that I've ever seen Wargaming release in terms of not only skill, but also quality of life. What are we talking about? Well, over the past few months, it seems like Wargaming has finally been listening to the criticisms that I and other players have had when it comes to the game. One of the criticisms is the fact that we have not had a live damage counter up until now. We can see in the corner here, I've got my damage, 549, it's now 874, and I can also see how much I've blocked at 990. Why this wasn't in the game from the first couple years doesn't really make sense, and it's something that a lot of us have been asking for a very long time. And it's not just that. For example, something else that I've really wanted in the game for quite a while is a rewind on the replay system. One of my old friends managed to mod a rewind system which worked in the game like years ago, and yet Wargaming still hasn't done this themselves, which means they're really just lazy. But Reforged does have a rewind, so I guess that's better than nothing. Either way, it definitely seems like Wargaming is finally trying to do things that the community's been asking for. And in the latest update, we have two huge changes that are going to be here tomorrow. First of all, we have gunmarks. This is something that I've been talking about for quite some time, and it's something that I'm really excited about. I normally stream Blitz daily, but I haven't been streaming the game recently because I've been really busy with my other channels, and there just hasn't really been much incentive for me to stream Blitz. It's not as fun as it used to be. There's nothing for me to really grind or no goal for me to achieve. But in the next update of the game, we are going to be getting gunmarks. And what that does is it actually gives me something and you guys something to do. For example, let's say you have every tier 10 in the game. Gunmarks basically make it so now you have something to grind for on those tier 10s and all of those tier 9s. The way gunmarks work is very simple. If you are in a percentage of XP, you will get a mark on your tank. So for the T22 medium, which I'm currently driving, I would have to perform better than 85% of players that are using this vehicle in the past, I think it's 50 or 100 games, whatever the criteria is. If I'm performing over that threshold, I will get 2 or 3 marks. I think the final mark is 95%. And I'm really happy that Wargaming actually went through with this and made it a challenging task. And it's not based off of damage, it's based off of XP. Which is also huge, because, as many of you are aware, damage is not the only thing that's important in Blitz. Victories, which give you more XP, and helping your team by spotting, giving assistance damage, and base cap, these are all other things that affect your base XP. So players that strictly only go for damage are not going to be able to reliably 3-mark their tanks unless they're also focusing on other values as well. And I think that this is good, because I've been in so many arguments with other players that say, oh, well, win rate doesn't matter, it's only damage. Well, that might not be the case anymore, because if you want to 3-mark your tanks, you're going to have to focus more than just damage. Now, we'll have to find out exactly how each of these statistics and values affect the XP that you earn, and how easy it is to 3-mark tanks depending on the player base. At the end of the day, well, the World of Tanks Blitz player base isn't the most skilled, as we can all agree. So we'll have to see how hard it is to 3-mark a tank to begin with. But with that being said, I'm really that happy that Wargaming is finally adding this into the game. I have been waiting years for this system to exist, and it's been something I've literally been begging for. So I do give Wargaming some congratulations for, I guess, listening to the community. I mean, for years they said this wasn't something they could do, even though Lesta did it a year ago. So clearly this is something they could do, and it was more just them, once again, probably being lazy and focusing more on Reforged. With that being said, there's one other thing which is being brought into the next update, which I'm happy about, and that is the fact that map rotation is leaving the game. Now, this is good and bad. The bad is that if you didn't like certain maps and you were happy they were gone, unfortunately now you're going to have them permanently in the game. For example, Dead Rail, Port Bay, Fort Despair, Black Goldville, all maps that I think are pretty badly designed, unfortunately, are going to be staying in the game. I really hope that Wargaming listens to a lot of the criticisms the player base has on some of these maps and actually tries to fix them. Port Bay is an issue where one team always gets to the medium flank faster than the other team. New Bay has the exact same issue. Naval Frontier is an issue where if you try crossing to the heavy flank, you literally just have a the ability to lose half your health if you're in a slower tank and the enemy team has faster vehicles. So there's definitely a lot of game balance issues that I would love Wargaming to be like, okay, yeah, we need to fix. I'd love to sit down and talk to them about them. But at the end of the day, that is totally Wargaming's decision and whether they want to actually listen to the player base or not. I think Castilla is one of the worst balanced maps ever. Same for Dead Rail. Even Mines has some pretty poor balance. So I think Wargaming definitely needs to now focus on making the maps better. That way, when Reforged comes, we can all be happy. But yeah, that's a lot of news, right? We got 2 massive changes, which the community has wanted and I've wanted. Marks, not everybody cares about them, right? 3 marking your vehicle, most players who are average or below average are probably not going to care. If anything, they're going to be disappointed that now they're, going to be told that they're not as good as players that are participating and learning how to support teammates. But at the end of the day, even if you don't care about 3 marks, it's still a very good thing for the game. Because 2 things. First of all, 3 marks aren't based off of damage. This is not promoting selfish gameplay as I went over. It's promoting gameplay that is team-based. Second of all, the reason 3 marks are really nice is because now it gives players an incentive to getting better. If you are a slightly average player or slightly above average and you're able to get 1 mark on your tank, you might think to yourself, well, what if I could get 2 marks on my vehicle? And then maybe eventually you do get good enough at that tank, and then you learn how to 3 mark it, right? And that's great. It's going to give me videos. I'm going to have videos up on how to 3 mark every single tank in the game, the capabilities, the playstyle. This is what I've been waiting for, and I am happy that Wargaming is finally doing this, so it's very, very nice to see that. But at the end of the day, we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video, and you know what, before we end off the video, might as well finish the replay here. Let's see how we end up doing in the T-55A. This is a really fun tank. The T-55A is one of those vehicles that, when it was first introduced into the game, I didn't really care too much about, but it's kind of been mega buffed in a way that it's now kind of fantastic. It features great mobility, pretty solid armor on the turret, and even on the hull you can get some troll bounces. And when you pair that with the fact that this vehicle also has one of the best guns in Tier 9, it's pretty dang dangerous. So currently we're at about 2,500 damage. We got the T-49 loading a high explosive, boom, 419. I love the 420 alpha that most of these Soviet mediums get. It's just so nice with high explosive. But we get 1 shell into the Ag Tiger. We're up to now 3,200 damage. We load a gold shell. There you go. 3,500 damage. Pretty good stuff. Let's see if we can get 1 more shot into the Ag Tiger. Boom. Oh. That did not do exactly what I wanted it to. Alright, well, the Ag Tiger's a 1-tap, but it's also still a tank that I have to be really careful of because I have 870 health, so just 1 shot from that Ag Tiger also brings me down to a 1-shot for most of the tanks on the enemy team. So, just trying to think of what I want to do. I don't want to overaggress, I want to play a little passive, but at this point, the enemy team only has 2 tanks left. They got a CS-59 and an enemy Ag Tiger, which is a 1-shot, so I'm just going to ignore the Ag Tiger. I'm going to push the CS, and boom. That's not good. The Ag Tiger's still looking at me. Alright, let me load a gold shell, and okay, finally. The Ag Tiger's out of the game, and I have enough health to take a shell from the CS, so we can poke this player. There you go. And even though they do outtrade me, oh, you know what? They got their adrenaline on. Oh, back up. Alright, we're good. We live, we deal 3,800 damage, we get 3 kills, and a pretty solid game. Either way, hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed winning that battle. I am really excited for the future of Blitz. Expect me to be streaming a lot more. Expect me to be showcasing the marking capabilities of every single tank. Wow, we assisted 4,000 in that game? That's kind of crazy. Either way, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.